Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at more people who listen to their gut feeling stories. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. I went on a date with a Tinder boy who wasn't my type. I wanted to give it a shot, try and be open-minded. As soon as I walked out of my front door and saw him in person, I was immediately turned off and knew I wasn't interested in him. We went on the date. I didn't feel right backing out at that point, so I played it very uninterested on the date. He kept pursuing me afterwards and I repeatedly clearly refused him at least 4 times. Oh yeah, I think that's a red flag. Like when you tell someone that you're not interested in them and they just keep pursuing you or they just keep trying to persuade you, that is a red flag. A couple weeks later, I was talking to a friend at the other local school and mentioned a bad Tinder date I went on with blank. My friend looked at me and repeated his name for verification. It was a pretty uncommon one. We looked him up on Facebook to confirm we were talking about the same person. He had 3 sexual assault complaints against him. Thank gosh. Thank gosh he wasn't her type. Thank gosh she listened to her gut feeling and she didn't let him persuade her. Oh, stand strong, okay? Stand strong when you know something is not right. Stand strong with your feelings. Listen to it. I am a nurse. I had a patient who was doing great after a relatively minor surgery and was set to be discharged the next day. I just had a bad feeling about it ever since my shift started. I kept checking in on him and he said he was completely fine. He went for a walk around the unit with the help of an aide. I offered to walk him myself. Glad I did. The guy passed out just as he was getting back to his room and was in a very serious and dangerous heart rhythm. If I wasn't there, we might not have been able to save him the way we did. Oh, wow. So the nurse just knew. The nurse was like, something isn't right. I love how even though the guy was like, I'm fine, the nurse still wanted to be by his side just in case something happened. When I was 13, I was in a pet store with my sister when this man walked in and it suddenly felt like the air in the store had changed. Whoa, I felt terrified to my core. I immediately grabbed my sister and told her we had to leave right then and there. We walked to meet our mum at the grocery store across the street and finished our shopping. When we finally left the store, the parking lot was flooded with police officers and there were helicopters above us. Turns out, the minute we left the store, the man had attempted to rob the place. I'm more mad because they decided to rob a pet store. Like, really? A pet store with all the animals? I mean, I'm not saying he should have robbed some other store. But seriously, why did they choose a pet store? When my son was around 9 months old, he found a penny and put it in his mouth. By the time I realized what it was, he had already swallowed it. Me being a first-time mum, I completely freaked out. My older family members told me not to worry and that he would just poop it out, and things like this happen all the time. But I knew something wasn't right. My gut instinct was screaming at me to take him to the ER, even though he was acting normal. So at around midnight, I decided to wake my husband and we took him in. Everyone thought I was exaggerating the situation, but once we got to the hospital, they did an x-ray on my son and found out that the penny was lodged. The doctor told us that if the penny had flipped or moved even the slightest, it would have blocked his airway and my son could have died. Thankfully, they were able to remove it and my son is a happy 4-year-old now. I always listen to my instinct now. Oh my gosh, thank gosh they went with the gut feelings. I honestly feel like you should always listen to your gut feelings, even if people are like, oh, you're just exaggerating, don't think too much about it. Because I feel like that's always when something is wrong, you know? When people are like, don't worry about it, it's fine. Like from the stories I've read, it's always this. The people are like, it's okay, it's fine. But their gut feelings were always right. When I was little, my mum always called your intuition your belly buzzer. It was the feeling in the pit of your stomach that something wasn't right. Trust your belly buzzer, she would say. It's a good thing she did because when I was about 7, I was playing with some friends at recess. This man with a baseball cap walked up to us saying he had lost his puppy and asked if we would help him look for it. My belly buzzer went crazy and I screamed, no! I grabbed my friends and we ran off. Who knows what would have happened if my mum hadn't taught me to trust myself. No! Yeah, that's honestly just so suspicious. What grown man would ask a kid to help look for his puppy? Come on. Really? Really? I was living at my sorority house in the summer and it was the 4th of July. I was 20 at the time and decided I should be grown up and stay at school to work instead of going to spend time with my family. That night, a man came into my bedroom and pulled me out of the top bunk bed. After a bit of tussling, I eventually said to him, how can I help you? He stopped hitting me and said he had the wrong house. Eventually, I got him out of there and went to the hospital. Needless to say, those 5 words likely saved my life. I'm I'm so confused. What happened? Did the man come in there to try and rob the place? I'm actually so confused. Maybe those 5 words snapped him out of it. Like he was like, oh, this person is actually pretty nice. I'll leave them alone kind of thing. That's so scary. Oh my gosh. I guess being nice can just really wake someone up sometimes. But if he really did have the wrong house, does that mean if he had the right house, he would have still hit the person? What do you mean you have the wrong house but you're hitting someone? If you had the right house, would you still be hitting someone? What? He said that as if the person would understand him or something. Oh, sorry, my bad. I had the wrong house. I wasn't supposed to be hitting you. I was supposed to be hitting someone else. That doesn't make sense. It's still wrong both ways. I was deciding on childcare, which is always stressful. One place was a little cheaper per day, but you paid for a week even if your kid missed a day, but offered a video feed. The other was more expensive per day, but you caught a break and only paid for days attended. I picked the more expensive one because I got a bad vibe from the other. Within 2 weeks, the first one caught fire under odd circumstances. No one got hurt, closed, and never reopened. Always trust your gut, especially when it comes to kiddos. Yes. I feel like it's always right to pick something expensive when it has something to do with your kid or like, you know, something important, you know. Like always pick one with a lower risk of something happening. Once I was walking home alone at night and I was just listening to music and looking at my phone when I suddenly felt something wasn't right. I looked around and saw a car following me closely. So I started to walk on the other side of the street and all of a sudden the car parks up ahead of me and opens his door a little so that he could easily pull me in. I thought that I was just overreacting, but deep down I knew something was off, so I turned around and walked the other way. When I looked back, he jumped out of the car and started to follow me. I started to walk a little faster. I turned around and he was jogging towards me. Oh hell no. Should be noticed that this dude was like 6'4" and at least 200 pounds. Whoa! I ran into a corner store and he ended up going in there twice. Didn't buy anything, but looked right at me and grinned. I got someone to walk me home and I made sure to lock all the doors. It was the scariest thing ever, and if I had kept walking, I'm pretty sure something terrible would have happened. I'm so happy I listened to my gut. Whoa. That is so scary. They slowed down, they parked in front of them, they opened the door, and then when the person walked the other way, they ran after them and followed them. That's so scary. Oh. And I doubt it was all a coincidence because they didn't buy anything from the convenience store. Thank gosh they ran to a convenience store. I feel like that's always the right thing to do. Like if you feel like someone's following you, run into a store. Just run to an area where there's people. Oh, it's more scarier because this was at night. A few weeks ago, I was at home and I had a weird feeling someone was watching me through the windows. I even texted my boyfriend that morning around 8:30 that I was feeling paranoid that someone was looking at me. Around 4:30 p.m, I heard a very light knocking on the back door. I peeked around the corner and saw the little neighbor boy who had just turned 2. It turns out he had opened his front door and walked right out. His parents had been searching for him for about 45 minutes and the police were on their way. We live in an area with lots of thick woods, steep hills and wildlife, so he could have easily been lost or severely injured. If I hadn't been paranoid and on high alert, I never would have heard the knocking on the back door. Oh, so they saved someone's life with their gut feelings. But what was the feeling that someone was watching them through the windows? Maybe it was just a feeling that someone was outside and someone was outside. It was a little boy. I was in college and there was a really cute guy in one of my classes. A week or 2 in, we had to work together on a small project and I was pretty excited about the opportunity to get to know him. After speaking to him though, I got a really bad vibe from him, but nothing specific that I could put my finger on. I lost all attraction to him and knew that I should keep my distance. He approached me a couple of times after the project, but I made sure to be pretty cool distant though still polite. Whoa, how do you start to have a crush on someone and just immediately feel like something is off about them? That's crazy. A month or 2 later, same semester, our teacher announced that the guy had been arrested for murdering a girl he had been dating, another student at the school, and apparently it was an extremely brutal murder. He gave us the number of the detective investigating the case in case we had any information to share. It was a little unsettling to think about what could have happened if I had gone by physical attraction alone and not listened to my gut about this guy. Yes. See, physical appearance doesn't matter, okay? It don't matter. It's just even creepier because they did think the guy was cute and attractive, and some people do just date because of physical attraction. So that's scary. Man. Even if you're attracted to them physically, if you feel something off about someone, I think you should listen to your gut feelings, you know. Once I was staying at my parents' house while they went out of town, and my dad had just finished cleaning the guest room. I spent most of the day passing by the room and couldn't help but notice how cozy everything looked with the stuffed animals piled high on top of the pillows on the bed. Later that night, I came home from an evening out and fell asleep on the couch. Around 1 a.m., I woke up abruptly because I got this sick feeling in my stomach and this thought in my head: go to the guest room, get off the couch, you should not be on the couch. So I got up, I went to the guest room and snuggled underneath all the pillows and stuffed animals. Around 4 a.m., I heard someone rustling around in the bathroom down the hall. Resisting the urge to call out for my dad and see if it was him arriving home early, I decided to just text. My phone was in bed with me. When I got no response, I continued to listen. Then I heard voices. I proceeded to lay in the bed underneath the stuffed animals while my family home was robbed for 3 hours. I heard the entire thing. At one point, one of the men even came in my room where I was, turned on the light and just stared at the bed I was sleeping in. I don't know if it was because I was concealed under all the stuffed animals and pillows or if it was God's grace, but he didn't come near me. I waited until I heard them leave to go pack the car, and then I texted a friend to call 911. If I had never had the feeling to get up and go to the guest bed, this would probably be a different story. That is so scary. Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank gosh for the stuffed animal. Stuffed animals saves lives. No, seriously though. Oh. 3 hours though? Robbing someone's house for 3 hours is a very long time. 3 hours? They must have knew or thought no one was going to be home for those 3 hours. I don't know. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Oh, but still. That is suspicious. Oh my gosh. Now your parents can't talk about all the stuffed animals that you buy anymore and how useless they are. Stuffed animals may save your life. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!